So quantum is essentially field of information. Our eyes can only perceive so much. So there's a lot of energy that is surrounding us. It's a full-on spectrum of invisible energy. And energy is like the waves in the ocean. They come in as what's called quantum waves. And if they break, they become particles. And we are essentially particles. So this body, I often like to allude it to like a computer is the hardware, and our soul is like a software. Sometimes they synchronize and match, and sometimes they don't. Actually, often, as you know, we all have computers. Sometimes we keep upgrading the software, and it's easier to upgrade the software. But the hardware is the problem. Like your old laptop, it takes time until you buy a new one. You don't really go inside and change the motherboard. And so when we talk about the concept of quantum human, I also want to bring in the understanding that there, as we talk about quantum and we talk about particles, there's also the concept of light, right? We are all light, and we have actually already scientifically proven light within us. So we constantly produce an energy, and we have light actually in photons within our DNA. We produce in mitochondria, the organelle in our cells that gives us ATP, which is energy production, and that's also light. So we are quantum ourselves.
What if the next evolution of your health wasn't found in a lab, but within your own consciousness? Welcome to the podcast, The Energy Medicine. I'm Dr. Mary, a chiropractor, medical intuitive, and energy medicine practitioner. And today we're venturing into one of the most transformative frontiers of our time, the awakening of the quantum human. Joining me today is Diana Devine. She's a galactic shaman, a best-selling author, and she's here to help us unpack what it means to truly be a multi-potential being. In this episode, we'll explore what the fifth dimension really is and how it shifts the way that we experience our reality, and how this higher frequency, can activate dormant strands of DNA, and how awakening to your quantum potential changes everything from your health, your sense of purpose. And by the end of the conversation, you'll have some practical modern quantum tools that you can implement into your daily lives. So if you've ever felt that there's more to you than meets the human eye, more energy, more wisdom, more potential just waiting to emerge, then this conversation is your invitation to remember who you really are. Let's step into the future of energy, medicine, and consciousness together.
Quantum human is actually a light being that actually has many different light bodies. So I started talking about the physical, the hardware. Then we have the mental, the emotional, the etheric. There's actually 7 light bodies that are around us. And I'm showing like this because literally they kind of like expand to the spiritual plane. And these are those invisible, I would say, kind of auras that we don't see necessarily with the spectrum of our eyes. So being a quantum human in this day and age, which we'll dive into today, is a whole spectrum of changing your mindset. So if I am light and I'm an angelic being and I am perfect because I'm a divine being, then where does disease come in, right? What is disease? And from my perspective, disease is lack of ease. It's lack of alignment. So we are already perfect. And what's happening to us is that we're bombarded with a lot of noise from our environment, from a lot of electronics, EMFs, you call it. And we are coming out of ease, out of flow and alignment. Also, on top of that, we have all types of traumas, ancestral childhood traumas, past life traumas, galactic traumas, that we, at this point in time, reconciling so that we come back into the quantum human that we are, which is empowered, sovereign, powerful in the hardware, which is the body, but also in our mental state, emotional state, spiritual state, all these other planes of existence.
Deanna, I really appreciate that you started from the very first sentence. You're like, there is so much beyond what we can see. And
Mhm.
so the spectrum of the light that you're referring to that we can see, the colors of the rainbow is just a very narrow spectrum of all the various different frequencies that surround us. But we can only see just those colors, right? So
Mhm.
we don't see the far infrared, we don't see the X-ray, we don't see the gamma, but they exist. But we just can't see them. So this allows us and the listeners to expand our awareness beyond the traditional five senses that we use on a daily basis. And so you're inviting us to think beyond what we can see into the quantum dimension and accessing information for healing and for development of consciousness. So thank you so very much.
Correct. And just to add to that, like you said, the five senses, there's so many more than five senses, as you know. If we now starting this conversation as a quantum, we also assume we are multidimensional beings, meaning that we have access to different sensorium that's much more than the five that we know. So some people, the empath out there, they feel so much more. So there's only so much you can perceive with the eyes, but the feelers out there, you know what I'm talking about. Like sometimes it's overwhelming in terms of the information and sensorium, that the inputs that are being received. So really it's the nervous system, right, that is interpreting the information, that it's interpreting kind of the holographic reality, our reality as we experience it. So everything is pretty much math. Everything is holographic in nature. It's kind of like code. So, and that's the quantum field of information. So for those who probably know, like the movie Matrix, we all resonate with that because somewhere deep down, we already know that's the truth. Like there is the pluses, the minuses, the zero, the ones that are running in the background. And then, yeah, it's on us now to create from that state. If we know this is kind of how this reality operates, then we need to exactly come into a place of, I am a creative being. I know how this reality operates, and therefore I can shift my reality and I create in a way that is in the highest alignment.
So very true. And it is code. You're absolutely right. And I think that's a beautiful way of putting it out there. So since we're talking about the quantum human, let's discuss what the fifth dimension is. So, let's start with what the basis is and then how we can access in practical and tangible steps.
Yeah, so there's different people approaching fifth dimension as this like elusive thing that is somewhere out there that we're working towards, and one day we're going to reach it. From my perspective, fifth dimension is already here because all the dimensions actually of reality are here. There's 12 dimensions that we know of. 7 of them actually in our body, and that's the 7 chakras. Every chakra is actually a wheel that is tapping into a certain dimension of frequency. So for us, it's important to understand that fifth dimension means it's more kind of higher frequency dimension, which is more from the heart up, right? The fifth is really the throat, where we express ourselves, where we live more heart-based reality, not the lower frequencies where it's more ego-based, shame, guilt. There is this beautiful map of consciousness created by Stephen Hawking that I love, where it shows different states and frequencies, as you alluded to, Mary, of our emotions. So fifth dimension for me is when we go beyond that low frequency bandwidth and we start tapping into those higher emotions, higher dimensions of expression. So, and we can do it on a daily basis. We can actually shift between them just by our intention alone. You might wake up one morning and you're just not having a great day. You can continue having that day, or you're going to be like, okay, I'm getting out of bed, I'm psyching myself up, I'm going to start working out, I'm going to drink my smoothie, I'm going to do all these things that, say my affirmations, do the things that excite me about my day. And all of a sudden from that low frequency where you were like really down and you were just, grieving or some sort of process that you were going through, and every day it shifts was, you can shift that into a high frequency if you want to. So that's the beauty of having a free will and choice to shift between dimensions. So fifth dimension for me also means collaboration. So it's not just a dimension that we kind of silent at, it's actually this beautiful unity community that we all live. Because if we are in heart-based reality, we are all about this unconditional, beautiful love and connection with our other human beings. And we want to share, this is when, and I'm sure all of you have had those experiences where you like go into this gathering, whether it's meditation or the Kundalini activations, for instance, so I activate people's fields and then they come out of it so blissed out, right? That moment of bliss where you just like, you forget your worries, you're so relaxed, you surrender deeper, and you just being in your moment without all the loops and the thoughts that are racing your mind, and you're just so present in the moment, in the now. For me, that's fifth dimension. You hit it right there. And so the key is more not about like what is fifth dimension or how do we reach it, it's more how do we maintain it. How do we anchor this state of bliss, Mary, on a daily basis, in every moment, always stay in that. I think that's the challenge of the human, the quantum human, is to constantly stay in that state of coherence. And what is coherence? That's another really important thing about the quantum human, is that alignment between the mind, the heart, and the energy field. So, and we know, for instance, Native Americans, they have those beautiful shamanic drums you've probably seen. And when they beat the drum, what happens? It's simulated the heartbeat, boop, 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 boop. So it's creating a really steady rhythm. And the more steady you are in this rhythm, actually brainwaves start slowing down and they drop in from beta to alpha to theta. That's when you reach that REM state, when your eyes are moving, you start having visuals. And that's when you go into shamanic journey. And I have a lot of shamanic practices, so I used to do those power animal journeys. So I'm really loving the drum. I have a beautiful drum. So, and what happens so your brain waves and your heart synchronize. And as you synchronize to theta, you synchronize 8 hertz and below. And the earth, you probably heard of the concept of Schumann resonance. The earth's heartbeat is about 7 hertz. Between 7 and 8. So then as you start dropping into the lower kind of frequency and synchronizing with Mother Earth, that's bliss state, because now you're so present in here, you're present in your body more than ever. You're not somewhere there in the clouds, you're really here, aware and coherent. So that's now the beauty of choosing your state. And having the tools to get there.
So listeners, I have to circle back. There's so many good points that Deanna made just in this last section that I want to go back and highlight a few, okay? Because she's, this is common language when the two of us get together. I want to make sure that this is grounded and practical, tangible for all of the listeners. And so the first thing I want to say, number one, Deanna, thank you for reminding us that the fifth dimension is not something we are part of it. We are not separate from it. The key is to be in that connection with it throughout the entire day and into the sleep time as well. The other thing, so thank you for that reminder. The other thing that Deanna said, and I think it's important repeating, and that she was talking about the energy centers, right? And she was talking about the chakra systems and the frequencies. And we know that as we start from the root chakra, which is the slowest of the frequencies, and we ascend upward into the space of the seventh, we're increasing the frequency. But what Deanna is saying is that for each energy center, there is a shift in the consciousness. So as the frequency rises, so does the level of consciousness. So that's a beautiful thing to mention. I also really appreciated when you're talking about, the physiology of the brain waves. We are so engaged with our to-do list and accomplishing things, that we always have an agenda, we're always strategizing, that we rev ourselves up into this high beta state. And as we descend, as you're talking about, into the shamanic journeys, into that theta state, there's also the opportunity that if we choose, we can switch and go into a high gamma state immediately from the lower alpha, leading into that bridge between alpha and theta too as well. And the last thing I want to say is that I love the research as to what we now know about the toric field of the earth. And science can now show us that there is a pulse, like a drum beat Deanna was talking about in the Native American cultures. The earth literally has its own pulse. So imagine being in a ceremony in which they're using this drum beat in order to activate the heart. The coherence becomes so much bigger than just the heart and the brain. It's the heart and then the entire universe. It's so simple. It's so magical to experience. So thank you for that reminder. I do appreciate that.
Yeah. And I mean, Native Americans, if you think about indigenous tribes, they've done it for so long without having all the science, right? The science is just catching up. Why it's called Schumann resonance, because the scientist Schumann, he measured that, and finally now we have some graphs that we can follow on a daily basis. So I actually often post about them. I look at the solar activity, like what's happening right now. There's a lot of rays of light, all the solar winds, and this radiation we receive and kind of starting with the fact that we are light, we are quantum. We also get an upgraded cosmically right now with all this energy. And then what you often see, Mary, which is really interesting pattern, is that usually the Schumann resonance follows that the next day. So because it's synchronized, the heartbeat of the earth is synchronized with us. So as we receiving all of this gamma and all these rays of energy, and we start upgrading, and our field expands and becomes even larger, and we literally digest in the light. We learn how to digest the light. Then also the earth, she is getting upgraded, because the next day, pretty much next day or the day after, I'm seeing the spikes in the Schumann resonance. So it goes from that base level of 7 to 20 or more, and it's really fascinating to observe. I think we're just scratching the surface of what's happening, but it's very much constantly in connection. What's happening to us, it's happening to the planet, and vice versa.
There is no separateness anymore. For those that choose to try to make that separation, I think there's a huge gap, and science is bridging that gap, and we just have to train ourselves and recondition ourselves as humans, right? So let's bring it back into the physical body. So if we know that we can influence the energy, the invisible energy that surrounds us and runs within us, let's bring it back into the trillions of the cells that are located within our physical body. What happens? I mean, you talked about the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of all the cells, but we also have our DNA in there that we can upgrade, unravel, reconfigure if we choose to activate it. And we can activate it for healing and for also human potential. And I know that you've written a book about this. So the book, listeners, if you're watching the video, you can see the book right behind Deanna, but I want to mention it. And the name of the book is Mastering Quantum Creation. Awaken the Phoenix Within, Manifest Your Reality, and Reclaim Your Cosmic Power. So that title literally is probably, that book will probably answer the question that I'm asking you to dialogue about, is how do we activate our DNA within the trillions of the cells within our human body if we want to upgrade or if we want to manifest something?
Great question. Yeah. First, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the book. The book covers a lot. So there's just a section there on DNA, and I'm really passionate about DNA because the other thing that I'm very passionate about is also us remembering who we are. So actually the first part of the book is called Remembering, and then Expansion, and then Mastery. And there's different ways for us to remember. So as we meditate and we do different modalities and we tap into the field, just by us kind of going deeper within ourselves, that is starting to activate, Mary, also those DNA codes, because we already carrying within us all the ancient past. So again, back to the soul, which is a software. The software has had many incarnations. We experienced many lives on Earth, but we also experienced many lives off Earth. All of that information is carried in a software. Part of earthly incarnation is that we don't remember. We have this multidimensional amnesia. And so each lifetime that we burn, it's like from scratch, right? We're starting to remember now more. And these new children that are coming in, they have more memory. And the memory is not memory necessarily that's in the brain. The science is actually already starting to prove memory is non-local. So it is in this nanosphere, right? The quantum field of information. And it's more about how we tap into the memory. But the DNA itself is, we are actually galactic beings. The human body has been created by many different species of the galaxy. And so each one, it's like a garden, has put its little seed into our DNA. And all these codes are actually within our DNA.
Before we dive deeper, I want to take a moment and share something special with you. In today's episode, Deanna and I are exploring the 7 lower chakras, the associated levels of consciousness, and how to ascend into the quantum field in order to be able to attract what it is that you desire. If this conversation is sparking something within you and you're ready to understand how you can work with your own energy systems, then I invite you to join me for a 12-week transformative journey called the Energetic Toolbox. This program is designed to help you clear energetic blocks, expand your awareness, and align your frequency, what you truly want to create within your life. You can learn more on my website, or if you want to wait until the end of the show, we'll flash up a QR code. You can simply have your camera ready and click when necessary. Hope to connect with you soon. If you listen to Deanna and I, we are excited to be part of this time in current present time consciousness, where we are utilizing the tools of quantum healing. That is the future of medicine, and we're living it every day. To help support Deanna and what she's communicating about some of the modalities that she's using, I want to emphasize that she's saying that, we can down-regulate our autonomic nervous system to shift into more parasympathetic dominance. That means that we're ready to receive. We're going to be ready, willing, and able to receive, right? So that we can literally digest, so that we can transform and we can heal ourselves. And the quantum tools, like the tool that I use, is in an electrophotonic imaging. It reads the energy that runs within us. And I kid you not, listeners, we can look pre and post session and measure the joule, the energy that your body is emitting, and it goes up post session. So that means that you are then better resourced. Resourced for what? Who knows, to be all that you can be, to be in your magnificence and your human potential, but also for holding the container for others to heal themselves. So it's a beautiful, beautiful time to be alive, I think, as far as healing is concerned and utilizing the quantum tools. And Deanna, thank you so much for talking about the coherence. Because the cells can create and harmonize, and the heart and the brain can harmonize and enhance the electromagnetic resonance. There's so much that happens when we are in a field of coherence. So that's truly where the healing does begin. So thank you for that.